Hi, I'm Kristin Omdahl and welcome back to my studio. In this series of videos, I'm going to show you everything you need to know to make this beautiful knit shawl called the Marissa. This bottom-up construction half-circle shawl is fringed with beautiful crescent motifs and works up quickly with easy lace. This is a spectacularly fun and festive use of color work and lace in a knit shawl. It's one of the 17 Join As You Go motif projects in my new book, Motif Magic. In the first video, I'll show you how to navigate the pattern. I'll show you all of the stitches you'll need to know and how to read the different components of the pattern. Then in the next video, I'll show you how to make these beautiful motif medallions. You knit each one separately, and you'll also be learning how to do a picot bind off in that video. In the next video, I'll show you how to pick up and knit the end of the motifs to join them into the edging of the shawl and work this beautiful and simple lace stitch pattern from the bottom up. And then in the last video, I'll show you how to block this beautiful shawl in Wrapture All Natural Delicate Wash. Make sure you watch all the videos to learn everything you'll need to know to make this beautiful project. To begin the first row of the shawl, we're going to pick up and knit into the sides of the motifs. We're going to pick up and knit 6 stitches along this edge, cast on 6 stitches across here, and pick up and knit 6 stitches across this edge. So for each motif we will be creating 18 stitches, 6, 6, and 6. And you're going to repeat that for each of the motifs that you're joining to the first row of the shawl. I'm going to start by inserting my yarn into where I want the first stitch to be on the first motif, and holding the yarn looped over itself, I'm going to pick up and knit the first stitch. Now, using both the tail and my working yarn, I'll insert into the next stitch, pick up the next stitch, and do that for a total of 6 times across the end of rows of that first motif. And notice how my yarn is doubled, and that's because I want to use up the tail. It makes it easier for weaving in at the end. On the next row, you'll just work those 2 strands of yarn together at the same time. I'm going to do a back loop cast on for the 6 stitches in the middle of the motif. So we're going to grab the yarn around our thumb, cross it over, and loop it onto the needle. Do that 6 times. Okay, and then on the other side of the motif, we're going to pick up and knit 6 stitches into the end of rows. If you have a hard time spacing this, you could find a midpoint to make sure that you do half of the stitches before the midpoint and the other half afterwards. But because this is a 12-row motif, I find it very easy to figure out where to pick up your 6 stitches because it's at every garter ridge. Okay, so that's what you're going to do for all of your motifs. Pick up and knit 6 stitches into these end of rows, cast on 6 stitches in the middle, and knit cast on 6 stitches on the second side of the end of rows. We're going to repeat that for all of the motifs, so starting with the next motif, we're going to pick up and knit 6 stitches into the first side of the end of rows. I like to grab at least 2 strands of yarn where I'm picking up and knitting. I find it's more secure than if you just grabbed 1 strand. Okay, so we've got 2 of them joined now. You want to repeat this for all of your motifs. This is what your work should look like at the end of row 1. Notice that I'm doing a smaller sized version of the shawl and I'm only using 4 motifs, but it's the same concept regardless of how many motifs you use. For rows 2 through 4, we're going to knit across all stitches. This is what your work should look like at the end of row 4. Row 5 begins with a knit 1, yarn over, and knit 2 together. And across the row we're going to repeat yarn over, knit 2 together. For row 6 we're going to knit each stitch across. So that means we're going to knit each stitch and yarn over as they appear across the row. This is what your work should look like at the end of row 6. For rows 7 through 9, we repeat rows 5 and 6 one more time, and then row 5 one more time after that. So we end up at the end of a row 5 where we have our yarn overs and our knit stitches alternating. This is now the pattern for the entire shawl. It is a 4-row repeat of garter stitch and a 5-row repeat of the lace eyelet. You'll want to follow along in the line-by-line instructions to figure out where to do the pattern even and where you're going to do your decrease rows. And I'm going to show you what one of those decrease rows looks like right now. On a decrease row, you're going to knit 2 together across the entire row. And that's going to cinch up the stitches and start decreasing our shawl to have that half circle shape. As you can see, after one of those concentrated decrease rows, you can really start to see that half circle shape emerging. Please make sure you follow the link to the pattern where you'll learn all the different sections of the lace panel, the garter stitch panel, and where to put your decrease sections to make the shawl. Please make sure to watch the next video where I'm going to show you how to block this beautiful shawl in Wrapture All Natural Delicate Wash. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please make sure to watch all the videos in this series to learn how to make this beautiful Marissa knit shawl. All the links you'll need are in the video description below to order Be So Fine yarn or Motif Magic. If you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please click the thumbs up button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. I'll see you in the next video.